I'd rather die in the heat of the sun than live in the shade of someone's shadow. Yeah, man. And that, like, I think about that a lot.
Trees on the beat.
Okay, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Young and Gifted, the podcast where we talk to young and gifted individuals and we try to get into their mind a little bit and try to pick their brains and figure out how it could help us be better people. You know, I'm your host, Vaughn, the local filmmaker, barber, entrepreneur, and I'm here just to make some friends and to get to know some people more. So you don't work no more?
I don't work no more. I'm doing music full time.
Yeah, well, that's good though.
It's a big blessing, bro.
Yeah, that's your dream, right?
Jeez, the jobs that they have you working out here, bro, like from making hummus to working in the factory to doing demolition to doing construction is very things I've done in the last, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couple years, and there's a lot of hard work. So I'm glad like now I'm in a position where it's a lot to keep tabs on, but I feel independent within myself with how my money is coming in and out. You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's the journey too, right? That's like by you having all these other jobs, it would have been easier for you to like find your voice within music, right? Like your style within that music, because I feel like you doing jobs that you hate make you want to go after the music more.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of push you, man. It's like the one job that I really loved was working at the London Music Hall because I was just surrounded by music. But then when I lost that because of COVID, that's when I started to work in the more tougher jobs that paid me a bit more, but like that was real hard, sometimes very dirty and gross work, you know what I mean? Because you had to like get down in the mud and or the demolition work, you had to be moving things around. It was a lot, bro, but also very rewarding. And it also did always remind me that like, okay, I have the end goal in mind is that like these are jobs, this is not my career. You know what I mean? That's what I always told myself at the end of the day, so that I could keep moving and keep striving towards the ultimate goal.
Yeah. And then the ultimate goal came.
The ultimate goal came.
Yeah.
So far, isn't me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's growth, right? So when you accomplish this one, you have a next one. It's not the ultimate dream, it's the ultimate goal.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you was to actually, because so a lot of the listeners probably wouldn't even know who you are. You know, so maybe you could give us a rundown, like you grew up in Jamaica, you come to Canada when you was this, how was that timeline for you?
So grew up in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, you know what I mean? Was there for prep school, high school. Actually lived in the Bahamas for a little bit of time, doing schooling out there. And then when I reached 17, because I was born in Canada, but I never really lived up here, I made the move up here to do schooling, to go to college, Fanshawe College, you know, shout out Fanshawe. And then I went to Western after that. I feel like the transition, you know, bro, I always kind of credit Canada for like, I feel like people said that you only really grow when you move as far away from home as possible, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a message I'll give my kids. Like as soon as I reach a certain age, I'll be like, yo, go out into the world and find out, because I feel like if you stay in the same place you were born or that you know, you'll never really grow. So when I came to Canada, strangely enough in London, Ontario, man, I feel like that's where I did the most growth as a human being in finding myself and what I wanted to do.
Yeah, because it was like by yourself, right?
Yeah, it was like by myself and with my brother Sage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean like you're with Sage, but you're by yourself in terms of like you can't go to Sage for your problems.
Right, yeah.
You know, you because at the end of the day, that's your brother and he doing his own party and too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's you finding yourself and trying to find. So, and it's actually a book that I was writing about that, and it's called like Diary of a Loner. You know, and it's me talking about lonely phase and the importance of everybody going through a lonely phase in their life. You know, and I feel like even when somebody say, you need to go and come back, it means location, but it also means like your spirit, you know, like your spirit and your mindset. Like you need to leave your comfort zone and go to a place where you're reminded of how small you are and how fragile life is, you know, and then you start to learn yourself, because then you start to like date yourself and you have to talk to yourself and You know, so a lot of the times I'll just be sitting down and I'll be like reasoning with myself, right? And,
Yeah.
and some people will laugh and say, "Oh, yeah, that's crazy." But to me, I don't think. I think it's crazy to not talk to yourself. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
like what kind of person makes decision without consulting themselves? You know, sometimes you say something out loud, and by you hearing yourself say it, you're like, "Oh, that sounds dumb."
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I should be. You know, like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
You know, at the time, it sounded like a smart idea.
It's better you practice it with yourself first before you go out in the world and express it. And
Exactly.
it sound dumb there, you see me?
Exactly, and then they get cancelled for some small shit, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like things like that I think is vital. And you coming to Canada with Sage, 'cause I know Sage back in the Sage was a party boy, just like how I was a party boy, right?
Right.
So
when did
but
you move
was-
up here? I actually don't know, you know.
But I came here in 2011.
2000. So that was a couple years before us.
Yeah, what time will it come here?
We came here in 2014.
2014, yes. So like 3 years before, you know. And yeah, so for me it was, but I came here with my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousins was like I was different, bro. Like it was different for me, and like being away from like Jeffrey wasn't here yet.
Yeah.
I had none of my brothers, you know. And like you grew up with your brothers and you grew up with your mom and you could go to your mom anytime. Back in those days, FaceTime was nothing.
No.
I had to go and buy phone cards to call my mom. That was hard. You know?
That's time ago, man.
Yeah, that was hard, bro. So like to see how everything is now where you could be away for somebody for 3 years during COVID and when you see them, you feel like you didn't miss a beat.
Right.
It's so much easier now to be that kind of thing. But yeah, that's just how it was for me, you know? And to me, that helped me grow because I had to be strong for myself, you know? I had to, I always knew how to cook, but I had to like double down on the cooking.
Right.
I had to double down on the, you know, I shouldn't go to a party tonight. And that was hard.
Wait, so you had to have a conversation with yourself
Yeah.
before you could make that decision.
Yeah, and you know, at a point in time, I kind of gave in and I used to do everything. But I think that was a good thing too, you know?
Vaughn, I feel like I've never booked you in a party, you know?
No,
I feel like we've never gone to a party at the same time.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't think we go to the same parties.
I don't-
I think I see Sage.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Like, well, you telling me you don't? I never see you
Don't
in a
flip
party.
it. Don't flip it on me now.
Because here we go on. I see Sage couple party, but you always to be home, dog.
Yes.
And you always to be home. You know, so that's what I was saying. I don't feel like we'll be in the same parties. And then, honestly, but when we used to party, we used to go from one club to the next club, and because we like it was my one boy and I, he was a promoter for one club and I was a promoter for next club. So we go there and then go here, and then we knew like I was a barber as well, so I knew like all the drug dealers. So we'd be up in the boots with them, you know, getting free
Bottles.
drinks, free bottles. All they would say, "Yo, Vaughn, go get some people to come in the booth and we just go." So I don't think we would have mixed like that, but I did see Stage a couple times back in the day, and I was like, "Who's this fella trying to take all the girls, boy?" You know, but
Yeah, that's his job.
exactly
Back then. Let me say that.
Back then. Now he's a change man. That's like how we all are. But yeah, bro. So it was different back then, and looking at it now, it's a whole different game now. But like London is different now. I don't even like to go out no more. To be honest, I like to be
100%.
around my family, around my kids, and that's where I feel like I build strength. You know, like I go home and I could be around them, and that's where I get strong and could come back out and do things. You know, be creative, and you know,
Yeah.
home should always be the place where you find peace, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, like the whole going out thing, that's just a part of maturing, man. Like, I don't know, sometimes I have that conversation with myself because it's like maybe I'm just getting old, or maybe it's just because I've already gotten it out of my system. But like going to some of these clubs now, it just don't hit the same. You see me?
No, it's
Like,
different. It's different.
I'd much rather be at home, you know what I mean, with my
Yeah.
peoples and just like hanging out, and you know, like I just don't feel like that environment is as much for me. I will still go to parties, you know what I mean, because there's a couple of parties like out in Toronto. There's a sound system called Caruso, you know what I mean, and it's like African, Amapiano, Afro beats, and them man there know how to, and ladies, because Caruso have some ladies on their team, know how to like, they know how to curate music. You see me? And that's the type of vibe that I enjoy. Just going to the club and hearing the same top 40s is not, it don't do nothing for my soul, you know what I mean? It don't make me want to
I mean,
dance.
back in the day when we was partying, we had 2 black clubs in London.
Yeah.
You know? was Up on Carlin, and then there was Ciroc Lounge, or it depends on how old he is. You know, it has a different name. It could be Therapy, it could be a Large or Club LG, depending on how old he is, you know. But so we used to go there because you hear like soca music, dancehall every single Friday, Saturday, you know. So we had more options. Now you only have Paranoid and the only way
On the other side
on
of
the
town.
other side of town, and nobody, you know, like you want to be downtown, so after you could walk up the road and you know.
Taking the vibe, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. So, but now it changed, you know. So I don't know. I don't even miss going out as much again, bro. I feel like every time I went out, it was always something negative, bro. Like something bad will happen. Like we were getting into a fight, you know. And like it was like I got to the age where I was like, I don't want to be fighting no more. I have kids now.
Yeah.
You know, I had a kid on the way, and we get into this huge fight this one night, and after that night, I was like, yeah, that's it for me, bro. Because I can't be out here doing things that not really elevated my life or where I want to be. You know,
and also something could have happened to you. You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. You know, so is a difference when you start to think about your actions, you know, and then you start to realize that sometimes walking away from a fight means he's a man, you know, and sometimes being a man is not being like, oh, I'm not gonna try to avoid the situation, you know. Because if I try to avoid the situation, that means that I'm a punk, and it's like, nah, that's not the truth.
Yeah,
you know? It's far from the truth. It's something that we as black men had to grow up and learn, because we always thought that you had to be confrontational.
You have to stand up for yourself, yeah.
You know, and I mean, you have to stand for yourself, but I mean, like you felt like you had to be that person, to not be the weak person to get picked on, you know. And I don't know, now London just different, so now I just back
do you feel like it's different, or do you feel like we're just so removed from that now?
I don't know. Well, honestly, I feel both. I feel like both, you know. I feel like, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like it's both.
Yeah.
You know, like there's things that we could talk about that I don't even want to get into in terms of how things different now. Like we could talk like drugs and that kind of stuff.
True.
You know, like
true. Yeah.
it wasn't like that back when we was partying, and not everybody was doing it, and it wasn't like peer pressure if you wasn't doing it. And now it's like every rap song is like pop up perk, you know, and how these kids thinking that it's cool to actually do that. Is this falling?
No, I'm just holding it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good.
You know, like, so it's different now, because rappers back in my day, I always tell these kids, like, rappers back in my day was like cool. Like you'll see a rapper and be like, yo, I wish I could hang out with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at Method Man when he step out with his Timbs, you know, and that big jacket and these kind of guys. But now it's like, you see rappers and you're like, yo, I think I'm cooler than this guy. To be honest.
Just off the bat.
Yeah, I think this guy couldn't even hang in my circle.
Right.
Know?
It's controversial, man, because I feel like everybody always looks back on their the music that they grew up and they're like, yeah, this is the sickest time period. You know what I mean? Or this is so much more different than what we listen to now. And I don't disagree necessarily. I just feel like the face of hip hop kind of changed, you know what I mean? Because it kind of like, I've talked about this so many times, where it had the golden era of early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, and it goes into the SoundCloud era, which was another kind of spike. I feel like the thing now with rap is just that, like, there's just so much, you know what I mean? There's just so much rap. Like everyone's a rapper nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
And not everybody's amazing at it, and that kind of like waters down the whole thing. You know what I mean? I still think there are some great rappers to listen to.
For sure.
And there's some, bro, there's like
no, it is.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like, honestly, bro, I think this is the best generation of rap in terms of variation, you know, like bro, I will sit down here and listen, like when I talk about rappers nowadays, I mean like the ones who talk about just popping perks and shit, but I will sit down here and I listen to like Memphis rap, or Texas rap, or like UK rap. Like UK rap on a rise right now.
Bro,
You
UK
know?
rap is the sickest thing going
Yeah,
on right
bro.
now. I can't lie.
Exactly.
I cannot lie.
Or like female rappers, bro. Female rappers dope. Like they always been dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lauryn Hill. I know most people don't see Lauryn Hill as a rapper, but I see Lauryn Hill as a rapper.
Absolutely.
Most people who don't see her as a rapper just never listen to her albums.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But like Lauryn Hill or Foxy Brown or Lil Kim back in the day.
Right.
But it was always like 3 or 4. But now you have like Bia, you have Glorilla. I think Glorilla dope, you know? So there's a lot of new rap that I think is dope. I just mean like the ones that they try to push mainstream.
Yes.
Is the ones where you're like, oh, this person not cool, bro. Like why they pushing them mainstream? And we understand why, because of the media and what sells, but there's still some pretty like I like Lil Russell a lot. I listen to Lil Russell all the time. You know, he talk about black business and leveling up yourself and that kind of stuff. And then there's this new guy, Big X the Plug. I think he's dope as hell. I don't know if you know Big X the Plug.
I don't know Big X the Plug. He's well, I'll have to check him out.
He's dope. So like, you know, so it's like things like that. And then it's have like local rappers too that we know could hold their own, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that they don't have the voice. When I shouldn't say the voice, they don't have the platform, is what I mean. To be like that, you know? Please know that from now on, I'm going to be putting like little clues in each episode where we could get like different discounts on haircuts, and it might have other businesses and stuff, but only one person allowed to win. In a game where you know most people do really make it, right? And you step into these rooms with artists who bigger than you and stuff, do you feel like what do you call it?
Intimidated?
It's not really intimidated. It's like what do you call it? Something syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Do you feel like that sometimes? Or?
You know, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't, man. I feel imposter syndrome a lot. You know what I mean? But I think it's less about like what's going on around me. Like I don't look at someone who have bigger chains or bigger cars than me and I'm like, oh, bro, I feel like I'm not really doing it. You know what I mean? I think it's just a matter of like as a creative, I'm just so hard on myself, and I'm just like, I've just been so surrounded by talent in my life that I just want to make sure that anytime I go into the studio or anytime I'm performing, I'm not just like fooling myself, you know what I mean? And it's a very crazy thing to think, because I know it's like, you know, you're good, you know what I mean? Everyone around you tells you that you're good.
Yeah.
But then you're also thinking like, all right, well, everyone around that person tells them they're good, and then that person over there. So what makes me any different? You know what I mean? So sometimes I feel like I just have such an acute self-awareness that I'm just like, I just have to wonder, like, you know, maybe I'm not as sick as everyone thinks I am. But at the same time, it's somehow, I feel like you can have that in healthy doses. You know what I mean? It's all about keeping the ego in check, which I feel like I've been doing a lot recently, especially in situations of conflict, where I have to think to myself, am I tripping? Is this actually a problem? Or is it just my ego at this point now, because I feel like I'm some big artist and now I feel like that people have to respect me in a different type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I kind of have to ask myself those questions before I retaliate or before I respond, because I don't ever want to come off as that, because I've never been like that. Because you know me.
Yeah.
From times. You always know me. I've been a very quiet youth, humble. Keep to myself, you know what I mean? So I never want that to change just because now the Instagram is popping and all the streams are coming in, you know what I mean? So I feel like with the imposter syndrome, it at least gives me that avenue to question myself and be like, am I doing this the right way? Am I as good as these people think? And sometimes when I ask myself that question too many times, and I'm just like, all right, let me pop out my guitar. You know what I mean? Let me pop out my guitar and strum on it. Or let me call up Jag or Navan and be like, yo, I need some singing lessons. You know what I mean? Like, let me try and make myself better, because obviously at this point I feel like I can be better. Otherwise I wouldn't be thinking like that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But so it had this thing that I do actually, and I kind of learned it from Dave Chappelle. It was like secondhand, because I didn't think he meant to teach this, but I was watching one of his stand-up comedies and he did a joke, and when everyone started to laugh, he was like, he told the crowd, I told you I'm dope.
Yeah.
Right?
I told you, I know the joke about the kicker in the pussy. Yeah. Oh, sorry, bye.
It's okay. So, like for me now, what I do, bro, is that I say to myself, bro, that I do. So like whenever somebody say, yo, Vaughn, this video was sick, I'll be like, yo, I tell you I was dope.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you I was dope. You know, and like for instance, like 2 days ago I had this a big production page where it's actually learn filmmaking on Instagram. Like most only filmmakers I know they follow this page and stuff. And they started following me.
Let's
and
go.
like him and stuff. You know, and then the first thing I says like, yo, I told you guys I was dope. For me, it's like, it's a difference of being humble and being and not being confident. You know, and for some reason they make us feel like for you to be humble, you have to be you can't be confident. You can't be confident and humble at the same time. And that is not true. You know? It's like you could walk in a room and be confident. You could walk in a room and say, yo, I'm better than everybody in this room.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm still humble enough to learn something from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in terms of talent, I could say, I think I'm better than everybody. Even, bro, you could beat me in FIFA 15-0, and I will still say I am better than you. I would never say that you better than me, bro. That will never come out my mouth, bro. You know, because at the end of the day, it's like me being like, I don't think God gives somebody else something that He didn't give me.
Yeah.
So how I could say that this person better than me because the person doing better right now, that don't make no sense. You know, I better than everybody in this room, but I could learn from you.
Right.
You know, I mightn't be as educated as you in making a good rap song, but I still think I'm better than you. And when we do a rap song and your song better, I will still be like, yo, I don't like yours.
Yeah. Mine is better.
mine better, but teach me how you put those two bars together because that was dope.
Right.
You know, it's like things like that, bro. So for me, it's more like telling myself that, yo, I dope. And from me doing that, I think teach me and give me way more confidence and help me. Because confidence is what you really need, bro. You know, you need that confidence. Like when you listen to Kanye West talk and say, I am a genius, you know, I'm Walt Disney in the flesh.
I'm a god, them thing there,
it's like thing is like, he might be a little extreme, but is he? You know, so that's just something that I did learn for myself, that I just do if I go into a room, and even if I think everybody else better than me deep down, I would still be like, dog, I am dope, dog.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a reason I'm in this room, right? I wouldn't be in this room if I'm in this room by luck.
Yeah.
You know, like hard work put me in this room.
That's facts. I get that mentality.
You know, so so because of that, they see something in you that dope, you know, or else you wouldn't be here. You know, so that's just how I like to look at it, and I like to see things, and I think I'm doper than everybody. But I think I could still learn
from anybody.
Yeah, I think everybody could teach me. That's why I started the podcast, but I didn't start the podcast for me to spread knowledge. I started the podcast to learn things, you know?
Yeah.
And become a better person, you know? But I still wouldn't say, yo, this person is better than me. This person has something I don't have. That's not true. You know, I just have to learn what this person could do and do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we get better, right?
Because I feel like even at any level, like just taking the time to be an observer and seeing someone else do something that's similar to you, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
And just being like, all right, how did they make that work? You know what I mean? Like even with my brethrens, like with Jag and Solo, like whenever I watch them perform, whenever I watch them record music, whenever I'm in the studio with them, I'm just like, yo, how do man them do that? You know what I mean? Like how they make that go in, how them brain work that way. Because I would have never think of that. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I definitely, I observe a lot of times. I feel like something on that note of confidence too. I feel like something that I wouldn't say that I've been struggling with, but something that an issue that I've been tackling is that I feel like I've been trying to find that balance between humility and confidence. Because I kind of feel like we already established, I try to be as humble as possible. And it's become so common that like in my humility, people are just like, bro, people come up to me like, yo, Cruff, you should believe in yourself. You know,
bro,
you should believe in yourself. And I'm like, dog, I do. Like, you see me? Like, I know I deserve this. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like people kind of see humility off the bat and them take that as like, oh, he's not confident, or don't believe in himself, or he's weak, or X, Y, Z. But sometimes I just take comfort in being in a room and not feeling like I have to be the loudest person in the room, not feeling like I have to be like, yo, you brother, go over, yes sir, you make sure, you see me? Like, sometimes I actually will always prefer being the observer until I know it's appropriate for me to like step in and take that role. You know what I
sure,
mean?
for
'Cause
sure.
I don't want to ever walk into a room and assume. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you see, but that's like cocky, you know. So for me, okay, like if I'm on a set, right? I would watch the person who is the PA, you know, and if I need something and I'm shooting anytime, I'll be like, yeah, get it. But if I'm not shooting, I'll go and get, you know, or even when I'm at the barbershop, I will sweep, you know. At the end of the day, I feel like, humility is understanding that the only reason you're good at what you do is because of time and trial and error. and the person who behind you go and catch you if
Right.
you don't realize, if you don't recognize that.
They're there to eat your food, man. There's someone always ready to eat your food.
But you still have to be the one who could show the nuts, if for lack of a better expression, but you still have to be that guy that when they come in, people be like, yo, this person know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, we could tell from far this person who he is. Because even talking to people and like people could get that kind of aura, you know? Sometimes what's happened to me and I start to remind myself. I'd be like, somebody talk to me and I start to be like, yeah, so then I'd be like, yo, wait. Why I talking like this person above me? It's like, no, bro, this is not how this going to happen. You know, this is what we go and do and this is what we go and then that's that. Right? So there is a balance, but to me the balance is you knowing that, yo, I could mash up this beat right now.
Yeah.
You know, but if somebody come and say, yo, I think like you should add this, be like, you know what, that might be a good idea, let me try it. And even if you know that you know want to use this person ad lib, bro, at least pay it in and be like, yo, that actually sound dope. You know, and then in the end be like, yeah, I'll be then use it. You know, I'm not saying to lie, but show people that everything possible, bro, and that the ideas is not trash, bro. Like any idea is a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, it's just bad timing.
I feel like my rule for creativity is that like if someone offer an idea in the room, just try it. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
I never feel like especially when you're in a room with so many creatives, because everybody has an idea and everybody wants their idea to be the idea. You know what I mean? Everybody just wants to contribute. I feel like it's just fair for everyone to get that option to like, all right, let's try this, and if it works, be honest and say it works, and if it doesn't work, be honest and be like, yo, that doesn't click with this. You know what I mean? But just as long as you try it, I feel like from you, like you stop that option to try. That's where the creativity kind of dies in a project.
So the time where I said this and green plant, that is the secret code today. We are shooting in Oxenbo Barbershop, London's finest. Book your appointments today. If you just go online, if you go to Google and you search Oxenbo Barbershop, you can click book now, or you could go to the Instagram. What is your biggest inspirations?
I feel like my biggest inspiration, honestly, I feel like for me, man, for me, I feel like when I first started doing music, it just came out of a place of like, this is fun and it lets me tell stories and it lets me play with words. And whenever something comes out that actually sounds dope, it's like this moment of excitement. You know what I mean? I feel like that's always what's kind of like driven this force to like always just make something doper than the last and always to just grow and try new things. Being in the studio kind of made me have this vibe of being a mad scientist. You know what I mean? Being like, oh, damn, I never knew that this together with this would have made this. So I feel like when it comes to like where my creativity comes from, it's just that like, it's that chase, man. It's that drive to just be like, I want to make something new that was never made before. And I feel like this is my contribution to the world. And I feel like I have already gone through so many experiences and I've felt so many emotions and I've had so many like thoughts that I don't always have the opportunity to just share with a normal person on the side of the road. So let me put this in a song so that I have these thoughts so that they're kind of like time capsule. Like I remember I have this one song called Ugly Free Verse, and it's a very old song. I made it back in my Solid Roy days. But there was a line and I'm trying to remember it. It was something like, tell myself, kill myself how? I can never kill myself. I'd rather kill myself doubt. And I remember that I said that because I wanted that to be like a message to me always, to be like, yo, if anything ever get dark to that position, like I said this in a song, so that means it's true. You know what I mean? So there are those moments where it's like, it's real like that. Or there are those moments where I just went through something where I was like, yo, I want people to know that it's not just them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a loaded question because there's never one answer, bro. When it comes to creativity is an explosion. It's an energy that you're always trying to transfer from yourself to other people. And hope it's received, and if it's not, then at least you put it out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever watched do you like TED Talks?
I don't watch TED Talks like that.
No way?
But you're going to recommend me one, and I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. The one I'm going to recommend actually is so there's the lady that you ever heard of the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
Yes.
Right. So the lady that wrote the book, she did a TED Talk, right? Well, Shonda Rhimes did one too, but this lady, she did one. And so hers basically is that like for writer's block, basically. Not even for writer's block, for the pressure to create. Right? I shouldn't say writer's block. So you make a hit, like you say you do souffle. And then people come to you and be like, oh, so what you gonna do next? You know, like what you gonna do next? And basically she break it down and she went back in history. And she said that back in those days, they would call talent. Oh, so back in those days, talent so talent would come from, or ideas would come from a genie. So a genie is like a demon that will live in your wall. But for them, demon was not evil spirit. It was like a spirit.
Right.
That will live in your wall, and that it will come out and it will give you an idea. You know, and that was, so the genie was the genius. So that was, so the idea didn't come from you, it came from the genie. So back in those days, it wasn't a pressure on you to create. You know, it's like they say you do souffle, people wouldn't come and be like, oh, how you going to do a next one? You know, they'll be like, yo, this guy has a really sick genius.
Yeah.
You know? And that kind of take the pressure away from creatives and stuff. It's actually pretty cool, and I think I kind of butchering it for how she do it. But you should actually look at it, because it's actually it's cool to think how it's like a bunch of creatives who write and stuff, and the way they break it down for me as a creative was like reassuring. You know, as to where ideas come from, and sometimes you'll be just about to sleep and an idea come to you,
and then you just have to write it down.
And you have to write it down, because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'll write it down in the morning, and in the morning you can't even remember the keyword that you tell yourself or that you write on your phone. And you write a keyword saying the woman in pink, and then you wake up in the morning and you can't remember who the woman in pink was.
And then the idea is just gone.
It's just gone, you know? Like she talk about another creative guy, a poet, and sometimes he'll be driving and he could see a poem coming towards the car, right? And it will pass and he'll hold the tail, right? And pull the tail down onto a piece of paper, you know? And it's like things like that, bro. It's like the idea don't come from you, it come from a higher power, a greater power.
Right.
So that way, when you do something like that, somebody can come and be like, oh, what's next after souffle? Say, well, we'll see what God decide. You know, if you know. So I don't know. That's just
No, I'm gonna start answering interviewers like that, bro. Whenever they're like, so what's next? I would just be like, yo, it's up to God.
Yeah, of course, bro. Because everybody's like, oh, what? And then you go home and be like, okay, now I have to write a song better than souffle. This song doesn't sound better than souffle. Let me dump this. But that song could help save somebody's life. That could be better than souffle. You know, it depends. You know, and
it's so crazy too. I know. We're not specifically talking about souffle, but just on the idea of hits and stuff was just that, like, man, when I made souffle, I didn't really know what souffle was going to become. You know, it was just kind of like, and when I go into the studio, at least before all of this happen, like, I try my best not to tell myself, yo, I'm going to make a hit. You know what I mean? I don't like to tell myself, yo, this song's going to be this when I go into the studio, because I feel like that kind of like curbs the potential of the song. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That kind of like just stops the song from being what it was supposed to be. Because now subconsciously I'm trying to make it become this other thing. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to force that, and then sometimes that's just not the vibe as a creative that you're supposed to put down. Sometimes maybe you're just supposed to put down something, like you said, that could have saved somebody's life. Or just a song that like would never play on the radio but would slap on a vinyl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like, boy, just the stressing yourself out about, I have to follow this up. It has to be exactly this type of vibe. Like, nah, man, we're creatives. We're supposed to try things. We're supposed to try things at least once, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And if it doesn't work, then we'll never do it again.
No, try it again.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Try it. But it's just like what we were talking about before with Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
You know? Or like, even if you think about like Beyonce, I remember I had a cousin who said he didn't like Beyonce, right? He's like, why? He's like, oh, I never like Beyonce songs because he heard Beyonce on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So one day we was going on a road trip and he played Beyonce CD because I always like Beyonce. And he was like, bro, Beyonce is actually dope. I'm like, dog, you have to see is that sometimes the song that was the biggest hit is the people who is your core fans don't even like those ones.
That's not even the best song on the album.
Exactly.
You see?
They like the ones where you say, no, I'm talking about, bro, last night I had a dream where, and they're like, bro, that's the song that I like because that I can relate to that song.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where your core fans does really be. Your core fans doesn't be in the hits as much as it does be in the little
The album cuts. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so yeah. So that's why you just create, right? You don't aim for a hit. You just aim to create and make people happy. You know,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
the world a better place.
Or sometimes you just have an idea that's just burning in your skull, and it's like, yo, if I don't get this out, it's going to torture me. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
I've seen you turn your ideas to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like you like know what that feeling is like.
Yeah, for sure. Mine is yeah. I think I have a sickness, bro. Okay.
Let's say you have a problem.
Yeah, I do. I actually have a sickness. I see it, but it's like once my mind is set on something, bro, it could never divert, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, a lot of times I get jealous of people who could just be normal.
Just be normal, man. Yeah, just like not even have to feel like.
And just be happy, you know, like they're just happy being normal. I'm like, yo, you don't understand that. Yeah. For me, it's like, you know, we have more power living free, but free, like happiness, bro, is something that's huge to me,
Yeah.
you know, and to those people too, right? So if you could do that and be happy, then you win. You win. You don't need to make 500K to be happy, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if you happy being somebody who just climb a coconut tree and pick coconut and go and sell coconut on the side of the road, and you have your wife and you have kids that love you. You know, I told my one boy, because he was thinking about quitting film, and I told him, I'm like, bro, you doing film, you have a wife that love you, I'm pushing you, you have a kid that looking up at you. It's like you win, bro. Like you don't understand that you win. I was like, you don't need to make 500K, bro. You know, just show your kids that anything possible once you pay my into it and never give up. You know? Another reason I started the podcast is I wanted my kids to see that I never wait for somebody to give me an opportunity.
Yeah.
I went and I take anything that I want to take, bro. I went and I take it, bro. You know?
Yeah.
The film game don't have much people that look like me in London. You know, I was like, bro, I come in and take it. You know, I go and take wherever I could take, you know, and I go and share. Same ways, you know. I go and take and share and show people that, yo, everybody could be something. And when people come to the barbershop now and they see and they're like, oh, this is not just a barbershop. Everybody doing something different.
Yeah.
You know, I never went to a barbershop where no one wanted to be a barber for the rest of their life. You know? It's like everybody here have something else that they're doing, you know, and even if they want to be a barber for the rest of their life, they have bigger goals and just working on let's own a barbershop, you know?
Yeah.
Owning a barbershop is cool, or owning 5 barbershops is cool, you know, but you can have so much more, you know, you could have so much more. You could be creative, you could be a artist, you could be and being a barber actually grants you that. You know, it's like a genie that actually granting you. You could get to know, like, if it wasn't for here, I wouldn't know you.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't know Solo, I wouldn't know any of my guests, you know? It would be different, you know? So it's like small steps for me, bro, you know, and taking time and thanking God for life, you know?
Yeah.
And
it's just not putting a limit on your happiness or what your scope of happiness can be.
Exactly. And that's why I say I have a sickness, bro. I have a...
You're just chasing the high.
Yeah, bro, I have a sickness and I'm like, you know, eventually one day it will come into fruition and I'll look back on it. And one thing I know that I'll tell myself is that I enjoy the times I was down.
Yeah.
You know, I never put myself down. You know, even though sometimes it does get hard, You know, I would just go shed out 1, 2 tear and come back, bro.
You have to sometimes,
You know,
man.
I just go
Yeah.
and shed out 1, 2 tear and be like, bro, it's hard, but I enjoying this, bro.
Yeah.
You know, because one day it will be different. And then you look back and say, I should have enjoyed my time.
I was going to say real quick, because you're talking about going and get it, man. I feel like for me personally, like, I don't know when that became something in my life, bro, but like I feel that so much because I just feel like I've been in situations where I kind of doing the music, man. I feel like there are situations where people put me on the bench. You know what I mean? Because maybe I wasn't making the music that everybody thought was cool, or that, you know, like people were like, "Oh, that's not gonna blow up. His stuff's weird. He's too Jamaican, whatever." And I've definitely remember times where like shows were happening, and I would have to be in spaces where the shows were happening, and people would kind of like act like, "Yo, why is he even here?" You know what I mean? Like, why? And I feel like when that would happen, and I had that realization, I was just like, you know, I'm just going to build it myself. You know, who's the person that really made me realize it is Smooth Steven Potasnik, because one day I don't remember. I think we were just doing music or something, and we went to a show, and then we came back from the show, and the man just said randomly, he was like, "You know what, Cruff? I just know if you did something like that yourself, it would just be money." Like, I remember that's what he said. He was like, "It would just be money." And I really sat down and thought about it, and I was like, you know what, like, I may as well, because I feel like if I just wait for someone to come and bring it to me, or someone to be like, "Oh, Cruff, you're finally dope, we finally accept you," no one's going to do that. You know what I mean? I have to accept myself first and put myself out there first, and invest in myself first. And when people sit that, they gravitate towards that and being like, "Yo, he believes in himself so much. Let me invest in that now."
For sure.
So I just wanted to make that point.
No, and that's a big thing I talk about, because the investing part, that's the next thing is that I tell people, yo, I'm dope, but that didn't come without me investing a lot, not just financially, but a lot of time and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, you know, because you have to invest a lot so that nobody could tell you that you don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know, it's that you spend 10,000 hours and you happy with the 10,000 hours that you're paying, you know, and that's where it actually is, you know. And but everybody, people always have something to say, dog.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
people, and that's
dog.
why I was telling people, you could say what you want, I dope.
Yeah.
You know, you could like my photo, you know. Bro, I could post a photo right now, right? And get 12 likes. I'll get 12 likes, bro. But my views on the photo will be like 500.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then Saf, you'll be like, yo, Vaughn, people hate you. I was like, dog, I don't care. I dope.
But people are obviously watching come have the 500 views. You see me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like, bro, I do not care. I'm dope. I don't post for 500 likes, bro. Those 12 likes is who I post for, because I'm making that person day, dog. You know, because if I could hit one person with anything I do, bro, I think I win.
Yeah.
You know, if one person could see my photo and be like, Vaughn, I really like that photo that you do, that you had. Be like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna post some more. You wanna see some more?
Yeah.
I have some more. I can post some more for you, you know? That's all, bro. It's not about, all I need to do now is find 700,000 more of this one person.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how I see it, you know? From the time one person buying, that's it, bro. One person like it, bro, I win the lotto.
Yeah. It's kind of also proof that like you said, the 700,000 people, like, there's a market for it. You know what I mean? When someone actually shows that, like, oh, I'm willing to leave my house to enjoy this. I'm willing to spend money on this. I'm willing to support this. You're like, oh, there's a market for this.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's where it is, bro.
How can I grow this? You know what I mean?
That you just have to figure out that, right? Like, I remember my first couple podcast episodes, we had like 50 views, bro. And I was in the shop and I was like, yo, we have 50 views.
Yep.
And one of the guys in the shop started to laugh. He was cutting his hair and he's like, bro, 50 views, why are you so happy? I was like, bro, 50 people sit and listen to my thing, bro. You know how much is 50 people?
If you put 50 people in a room,
you know how much people is 50 people, bro?
Yeah.
That is nothing to take lightly, bro. Now I need to find 50 times these amount of people. You know, 50 people, 2 people like your things, go and share it. You know, then 2, they might get 1 or 2. Bro, at the end of the day, it's about touching who's supposed to be touched by certain arts, bro. That's why it's an art, bro. Art, the word art come from the word heart for a reason, dog. You know, it's supposed to touch people in a place that make them feel vulnerable. So every art I put out, it need to touch somebody in a place that make them have a memory
Yeah.
or emotion that sparks something that make them feel happiness.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could touch them in a place that make them feel sorrow. Sometimes it depends on what we trying to portray, but it had to portray something.
Right. Yeah.
You
There
know?
has to be some emotion that it can connect to.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so as we before we wrap, because I know we wanted to talk about some things, you know?
Yes.
And one thing I wanted to talk about and you could address is I know like being the grandson of a great singer that was influential to so much, not only black people, bro. You know, it was like on the Mount Rushmore with like Michael Jackson and these guys was your grandfather, right? Bob Marley. So, and for you now, it was like you growing up and trying to find who like your own voice, you know, like am I supposed to do reggae because I come from that family, or could I go against the grain and do rap? Would that be accepted? Would people think that the only reason I get a little bit of play is because I come from that family? But I see for myself, when you guys didn't even want to tell people that your grandfather was Bob Marley, right? So, and I know that had to be then you had your youngest brother who come and buy bottles in the club saying, happy birthday, grandpa.
That's
happy
it.
birthday.
That's it, just exposing everybody.
Yeah. You know, so but it's different times. And I ain't even knocking him for it, bro. Because I always tell you back in the days, like, bro, if that was my grandfather, I would have, because you don't need to be going through all the stress that you're going through, bro. And he worked hard for that.
Right.
You know? So for you now, I don't know if it's something that you want to touch on and address a little bit.
No, absolutely. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like, where should I start with this? I feel like, well, let's start from the beginning. How much more time do we have?
You could talk, bro.
Just going through?
Yeah, you could talk.
When it comes to my career, I would say that like growing up, Bob Marley was like the coolest thing to me. You know what I mean? Because obviously I never met him, but people are telling me stories about this man and what he did and what he meant, not just for the island that I come from, but to the whole world. You know what I mean? And it's just one person. You know, and they're showing me the music that he's making, and every song slaps, and every song is timeless. They're telling me about what he personified, and this guy was like a superhero. I still remember, like I grew up basically in the Bob Marley Museum, right? Like I go there every day after school, and I remember there was one room where they had all the newspaper clippings, and there was one newspaper clipping where they had Bob Marley, and he had a guitar on his back, and he was just like Spider-Man, and he was swinging through. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as Spider-Man. Like, and to me, that just locked in that, like, this guy was a superhero, you see me? From when I was a kid. So, I always wanted to be like him, or I always wanted to at least personify something. Like, he always had qualities that I was like, you know what? I have to be like that. You know what I mean? At least. But it never really felt like that was a reason for me to be like, let me take up music or anything. I actually didn't want to do music. You know what I mean? I wanted to be an author for a very long time. I still want to be an author. I still want to make comic books, which is something that I used to do when I was a kid, and I still want to make cartoons, which is something I hope to dabble in. But the way how music come into it is just that, like, I generally just found it, man, with me and my friends making rap songs on Audacity that were trash, and we're just sending beats back and forth and Ray, yo, try this, yo, let's make a remix to this Tyler the Creator song. Let's go on this MF Doom beat. And from there, it just became like, yeah, you know what? I really genuinely like this thing called music. Like, it's letting me tell these stories in a different type of way. And as time went on, like, it never felt like ever that I needed it to sound a certain type of way. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like, me personally, I've always been an outlier. I've always been the contrary. You know what I mean? I've always been the person to be like, you know, I'm not really with that vibe. I'm not really following trends. And, you know, that hasn't always made me a lot of friends, you know what I mean, in my early days, you know, like, because I was just someone who was standing out from the crowd, and in the early days, everyone wants you to be a part of the crowd, right? So I kind of just feel like I was so used to already playing the role of black sheep that in me making my music in the way that it sounded, I was so comfortable with it just taking its own route. I never stressed about reggae being a part of it or dancehall being a part of it. What's going on, partner? I never stressed about that because I was just like, yo, I like what I like. If it works and busts, who can tell me that it's wrong? You know what I mean? And bro, all my life I feel like I've dealt with shadows, bro. I feel like if it wasn't Bob Marley's shadow that people tried to put me in is one of my uncles or one of my cousins or even my brothers, you know what I mean? But I always feel like I always say a little something to myself and it's poetic and it's whatever, but I always say to myself that I'd rather die in the heat of the sun than feel shade in somebody's shadow. You know what I mean? That's something I genuinely feel because, and it's extreme, but at least I know at the end of the day, I made my own choices and I was my own person. And people can always say,
wait, say it again.
I said, I'd rather die. I'd rather die in the heat of the sun than live in the shade of someone's shadow. Yeah. Yeah, man. And I think about that a lot because even with all the success coming in now and whatever people will say, oh, King Cruff, I was doing this for a long time. I'm glad you were there to vouch for it. Cause bro, it's been a long journey to get to where I am now. You know what I mean? I had the locks. You were the person that cut off my locks. You remember that? So it's like, bro.
Hey, don't put out me on camera. Listen to them coming after me and say, yeah, you cut off the man locks. Don't put out me on camera.
What said they'll put a hit out on you? No, bro. You see me? Like, that's how long like this creative journey has been. You know what I mean? And how long it's been without seeing, you know, any seeing like massive mainstream growth. Yeah. It was straight grassroots, local, on the ground. Me selling tickets, driving to people's places. Yo, I have a show here. I'll hand the ticket to you. And like doing all of these things just because, bro, I genuinely love music and I could see myself being something. So even with the imposter syndrome, as we were talking about, no matter what, I always felt like, you know what, I still have something to say. I still know that when I go out on stage, people enjoy it. I just need to work until I get that opportunity where I'm in front of a bigger crowd. So I never really felt like because of this lineage that I needed to act a certain type of way or XYZ. I have a lot of respect for it. Obviously, you know what I mean? I have a lot of love for it because it's so close to me. And my family has inspired me so much in my music career, you know? But I just always knew at the end of the day that I was supposed to be me, and that's it, really, bro. Like honestly, yeah.
And then at the end of the day, bro, luck is where preparation meets opportunity, right? Because anybody could just come and say, yeah, because a grandfather you get signed, but how come Sage didn't get signed? You know, or how come your next brother doesn't get signed? And at the end of the day, bro, if you didn't go through all the hardship that you did go through and all the practice and all the no's, you know? And one thing I respect about you guys, well, I could say for you and Sage, I can't say for any other the grandkids because I don't know them, is that you guys wanted to see how it feel to be and in London all it was normal. Nobody know. You know, so then they get it, bro. Then they get treated normal, and
a lot of people didn't even know until I got signed, and then a couple of the blogs picked it up and found out. I had people that I'd known for years, like 4 years, 8 years, calling me like, "You're not really related to Bob Marley. Like, how is this the first time I'm hearing about this? Like, oh, the label's just saying this to add a hype. You know what I mean? Like people really did not know.
Yeah,
and you know, like I still, like, bro, I'm not walking into the room like, yo, I'm a Marley. You see me? Like, that's not my MO. Like, at the end of the day, I'm really the Solomon.
Yeah.
I'm Stephanie's son. You see me?
Yeah, of course, bro. And that's the thing, right? Is you had to be good to stay in it. You know? Like, even if you had get like a one song through, then people could have talk and be like, yeah. But for you to do it and stay in it and get invited into these rooms, it had to be something bigger than your last name, bro. It had to be who you are and the team that you have, you know, and the team that you could carry. And it's all a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
It's all a matter of time. You know, so yeah, bro. So I think we had a good conversation, bro.
I think so too.
Yeah, cause I think I learned plenty of things about it that I didn't know, you know. So I think you had two quotes that I like a lot. You had the Danny son. and you had the what's the other one that you had
Which one?
from the old song? That
I
you
only
say?
drop gems, you know.
From the old.
You know how I go again? How could I tell myself kill myself? How I can never kill myself. I'd rather kill myself. Doubt. Yeah.
You know. So it's like things like that. One day you should
From days it's been bars, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah, you're right, bro. One day you should just do a book with a bunch of different bars like that. And if it comes out, just put them all over the page, like a little scrapbook type of thing, and just sell that, and that'll be sick. But yeah, bro, it was good to have you. I don't know if you want to leave some parting words and plug yourself in and that kind of stuff.
I mean, I didn't even really want to plug myself in because this was a really
plug yourself in, bro.
You
Because
sure?
for sure, yeah, bro.
Because I feel like this was a family conversation. To be honest.
But still, at the end of the conversation, you could plug yourself in because that's what it's about too, bro. You know, is we want to touch on real stuff, but we also want, I don't want like you have to leave with something. Bro,
Yeah.
Plug.
Well, She Don't Need dropping September 21st, featuring Stoneboy, featuring Jag Hooligan. That's the next single. Music video coming out as well. Very excited for that. Yes, that's one we've had in the vault for a minute now, so I'm happy to see that come out and see the light of day. And yeah, man, I feel like this was a great conversation as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm glad we got the opportunity to sit down and chop it up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully you can do it again.
Yeah, you need to have Sage on this podcast next year.
No, but I told Sage, bro, because we was talking about it. Because he was telling me he wanted his mother to come on, And I'm like, bro, I want him to come on too, but I want you to come on.
Yes.
Because it would be good to talk to like a new father. Or be able to just talk to somebody who, who I talk to all the time.
Yeah.
It is good for me to interview new people too, because like I like meeting new people as well. But then even when you talk to people who you think you realize that you don't know.
Yeah.
You learn so much about them. Like when you hear the headphones and you can hear yourself talk, it's like you're having an intimate conversation, right? And it could swing either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, but nonetheless, bro, thanks for taking your time, bro. And thanks for coming on. And I know we was talking about it for a while. And yeah, bro, so thanks for finally making it on.
Of course, man.
And I know when he's a superstar in a leather jacket. I'll go pull up this video and say, yo, look at this. Look at this, So that's just it, bro. And yeah, so this is episode 18 of Young and Gifted podcast. Once again, we are shooting in Oxenbo Barbershop, London's finest.
Mm-hmm.
That's our only sponsor for now. Feel free to tap in your business and we could talk about some deals.
Mm-hmm.
We have King Cruff in the building, live in the flesh. And he was in this building before this building was even this building. We had no floors. We had one couch. We had folded chairs where everyone would sit, and we still have the picture to show with him on stage. And that was day ones.
You have it?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to see that picture, man.
Bro. Yeah. That was day ones. This wall was white. The glass was dirty. It was different, So it's good that we get to see each other become different thinkers.
Yeah.
It's good to get to see Sage become who he is now and going through new stuff and seeing him maneuver in a way that I was doing 6 years ago, and it will be different for him. And I tell him, I did speak to him and I tell him that it's just timing, bro. Everything is timing. And once you understand timing, I tell my wife all the time too, it's like everything is timing, but nothing is forever. Happy times, bad times, hard times, they all leave.
Yeah.
Right? So you just have to enjoy the time that you're in. Time is an experience. So enjoy your experience, bro. Because one day you'll look back on it and you'll be like, that was an experience I had to enjoy, And thank God again to go through this experience at a young age. And yeah, bro, that's blessings, bro. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, bro.
This is great.
Yeah, bro.